Hi, and welcome to the Diamond Report for Tuesday, April 4th, 2017. This is your host, Doug Diamond. I've got us looking at Earthquake 3D, the last 48 hours worth of earthquakes globally. And about an hour or so after I finished the Diamond Report yesterday, a magnitude 6.6 earthquake happened in Botswana, which is in southern Africa. Now, some stations reported as high as 6.8. USGS has now downgraded it to a 6.5 from originally reporting it as 6.6. Nonetheless, it's a mid-range 6 to 7.0 range earthquake, which is the largest quake to hit that region in many years. So I wanted to show you that, and we can switch over here to the USGS. This shows roughly where it is. And if you follow Dutch Sense at all on YouTube or Twitch, which I highly recommend doing, he says that there are some ancient volcano areas in this region, as well as a diamond mine, which is not too far from, I think, south of where the epicenter is. So there is definitely some activity going on in that area, some man-made activity. However, there's no real positive explanation as to why this huge earthquake happened in that area. Now, yesterday, when I was doing the Diamond Report, there was a magnitude 5.1 to 5.3 quake. If you look here in the corner, you can kind of see it just to the south of where the larger quake was. Now, I'll just turn the rings off so you can see it right here in South Africa. But Botswana is where the larger quake happened. So there's definitely been some activity in that area. And it's interesting to watch what happens because as soon as that happened, within an hour or two, not very long, there was antipolar movement right here in this region north of Hawaii that has been taken off of the USGS feed and not reported on. Now, the European Bureau did report it originally and then removed it. So it's one of those ghost quakes. Did it happen or did it not happen? You know, if a tree fell in the woods, did it make a sound? Well, again, if you follow Dutch Sense, you probably are already aware of this, but I would definitely recommend going to his channel and watching his update yesterday where he talks about the magnitude 7.0 or less that happened in this area north and west of Hawaii. And now on to the headlines. People are fleeing New York at an alarming rate. More people are leaving the New York region than any other major metropolitan area in the country. And that's from the New York Post. Maybe that's why they're leaving. They hate the New York Post. Nothing will stop refugees crossing the Mediterranean to flee poverty. Rescue NGO. An influx to Europe from Africa will continue unabated, a group reports. And that's on RT.com. An InfoWars exclusive wind energy war on the high plains. A report that exposes industrial wind farms and the damage they can do to communities. The police told a woman to stop calling 911 hours before she was killed. Christians fight Chinese government over surveillance cameras in churches. That's from the Daily Caller. Stunning. White House releases official portrait of First Lady Melania Trump. I am honored to serve in the role of First Lady, she says. And in case you didn't believe me, here she is. From the Daily Caller, the Southern Hemisphere sees its quietest hurricane season on record. I would recommend going to geoengineeringwatch.org, Dane Wigington's website, for more information on how they can suppress hurricanes and keep them from stirring up oil, like in the case of the Gulf of Mexico and other places. Drug company owes $20 million after overcharging Veterans Affairs Department for drugs. That's on the Daily Caller. 2,070 refugees arrived in the U.S. in March. That's a 54% drop from February. That's on CNS News. Also from CNS News, EPA administrator says Trump is keeping his promise to deal with regulatory overreach. WikiLeaks founder escapes eviction order as Guillermo Lasso fails to win. That's on IB Times. Android overtakes Windows as world's most used operating system. Susan Rice flashback, I know nothing about Trump unmasking. The White House lawyers reveal she was lying. And by Ron Paul, yes, let's allow the Syrian people to decide for themselves. Trump must bring U.S. troops home and prohibit the CIA from further destabilizing the country. Europe declines to stand in solidarity with St. Petersburg bomb victims. No illuminated landmarks. Raging Russophobia manifests as callousness towards innocent bombing casualties. Rand Paul calls for Susan Rice to testify on unmasking Trump officials. That's on the Daily Caller. And from Paul Joseph Watson, body language expert, Susan Rice was clearly lying when she denied Obama's surveillance of Trump. Trump donates his first paycheck to National Park Service. Rabid media attacks. That's on Information Liberation. And from the Daily Express, EU thugs demand Hungary and Poland accept more migrants or else. A video, angry migrant beats up 3 Swedish policewomen. InfoWars investigates pedophilia in California. Sex trafficking investigation begins in LA. From Jerome Corsi, Congress still won't stop Obamacare looting scheme. U.S. manufacturing expanded in March. That's on The Hill. From Mikhail Thalen, House votes to label North Korea as state sponsor of terror. White people banned from Black Lives Matter meetings in Philadelphia. That's on Breitbart. From the American Mirror, CNN dismisses Rice unmasking bombshell, ginned up as a distraction. Tucker Carlson says monitoring conversations isn't incidental collection, it's spying. Let's drop the euphemisms. Anti-Trump bot network discovered. Fake news about Trump and Russia connection spread by bots. Yeah, they're called Democrats. Retired general says bombing North Korea, possibly the only option left. Pedophiles aided by the system. The establishment continues to back pedophiles as Trump aims to take them down. Britain threatens war over Gibraltar. British PM will go all the way to keep Gibraltar from Spain's clutches. From the New York Post, fresh evidence the Russia scandal is a Team Obama operation. Spanish gunship enters British waters off Gibraltar. Action could easily lead to war between NATO nations. Dr. Phil reports on international pedophile ring. Worldwide elite pedophile ring exposed on the Dr. Phil show. I would think that Dr. Phil's life would definitely be in danger. I hope he's got him some good protection. U.S. Navy kicked out of Cambodia, and all signs point to China. That's on the Daily Caller. Cyborg microchipping goes mainstream. Employees in Sweden are being implanted with microchips. Worried border wall contractors tell the feds they want to carry guns on site. It's on the Daily Caller. Judicial Watch sues for records between key Obama scientists involved in global warming controversies. Marvel says PC culture is bankrupting Hollywood. I think that happened a long time ago. More Americans view economy favorably for the first time since the financial crisis. From the Free Beacon. Putin calls for meeting with Trump to fight the globalist empire. 2 of the world's most powerful men stand up to the global elite. Gun sales have fallen since Obama left office. President Obama was the best gun salesman the world has ever seen. Video, Rice squirms when asked if willing to testify to Congress. Facebook gives in to Sharia law. Social media giant will crack down on blasphemous content. I guess they'll be cracking down on me then. Hungary, Parliament to fast-track bill targeting Soros University. Smug Democrat lawmaker not concerned by Obama administration's surveillance of Trump. That's from the Gateway Pundit. The world should be ready for North Korea nuclear attack on the U.S., says a defector. That's on Sputnik News. On naturalnews.com, rising poverty and crime rates force hundreds of thousands to flee Democrat-run cities. And then from yesterday, breaking Botswana rocked by the strongest ever earthquake hours after South Africa struck, just as I mentioned a little while ago in the earthquake update. From Dave Hodges, The Common Sense Show, deep state martial law crackdown will enlist local police to enforce. And a nice note from Paul Martin, who runs revolutionradio.org, where I get a lot of my headlines and information from. He sent me a nice thank you note here when I had given him a little tip. 2017 retail bankruptcies soar to Great Recession heights. Following Attorney General Sessions' threat, New York City no longer a sanctuary city. Those are both on Zero Hedge. We are at the dawn of change. Le Pen urges French youth to vote for real alternative. Ralph Lauren to close flagship Fifth Avenue store and cut jobs. That's on Zero Hedge. St. Petersburg suicide bomber identified as 22-year-old Kyrgyz native. In aggressive push, Trump seeks Friday passage of revised healthcare bill. And the Communist News Network, also known as CNN, rages against the Susan Rice bombshell and urges viewers to ignore the story. Trump border wall contractor receives over a dozen death threats since bidding on the wall. That's on the Gateway Pundit. Susan Rice's husband's employer, ABC News, doesn't cover the biggest news story of the year about Rice spying on the Trump team, from the Gateway Pundit. Captain Obvious to the rescue, Fox News learns that Russia didn't rig the U.S. elections. Took him a while, didn't it? That's on Sputnik News. Trump calls Putin to express his condolences over the terror attack on the Russian leader's hometown of St. Petersburg. Why Trump's first war is probably going to be a conflict with North Korea. That's on shtfplan.com. And on rt.com, Trust in Humanity Restored, how St. Petersburg united in the face of terrorism. Fake news in action, Washington Post and New York Times refused to report on Susan Rice blockbuster scandal. That's on the Gateway Pundit. Troops have been mobilized. Paris ramps up security after St. Petersburg terror attack. That's on The Express. Trump administration cites abortion as it halts funding to UN agency. California Senate approves sanctuary state bill. That's on Breitbart. Paul Ryan quashes hope for quick second try at healthcare bill. That's on Zero Hedge. On Daily Caller, first U.S. city set to see complete Obamacare collapse. That's talking about Knoxville. From Natural News, 16 countries in the EU vote against GM crops as GMO backlash sweeps the globe. That's good news. Gizmodo wants you to die of radiation. Attacks humanitarian scientist who wants to donate anti-radiation patent to the world. Yep, you don't do that kind of stuff. Texas scientist announces breakthrough anti-radiation invention that eliminates radioactive cesium-137 from the body and donates full manufacturing rights to governments of the world. Again, you can't do that. Power structure doesn't like it. Obama officials caught red-handed in most explosive abuse of power in U.S. history. Bigger than Watergate. Is Susan Rice going to prison? I doubt that. Judicial Watch obtained 695 pages of Obama IRS scandal documents. From RT, Le Pen says, I will bring Islamist fundamentalism to its knees. That's on Breitbart. 5 Susan Rice scandal facts every American must know. Sushi chef, suicide bomber patrolled St. Petersburg for 2 hours waiting for the perfect moment to strike before unleashing backpack bomb on a train, killing 14 people. 6 companies, including BMW and Mercedes, pull ads from Bill O'Reilly's Fox News show in response to claims that $13 million has been paid out in sexual harassment claims against the host. Mediterranean turning into a Dead Sea as its creatures disappear at a shocking rate. Yeah, that's right. Our oceans all over the world are dying. New Jersey teenager inspired by the Islamic State admits plan to assassinate Pope Francis and sets off bombs. That's from RT. More fake news. Nothing to see here. CNN's Don Lemon refuses to report Susan Rice revelations. And similarly, from All News Pipeline, mainstream media caught red-handed sitting on bombshell report to protect Obama. Independent media exposes it and them. From All News Pipeline again, why are they so afraid of the world finding out the truth about Antarctica? As more bizarre anomalies emerge from the ice at the bottom of the earth, globalist mouthpieces go into cover-up mode. A Skywatch TV web exclusive, Timothy Alberino, There Were Giants. We have the April 3rd through 7th Hagman and Hagman report. The media is lying. Trump is not ending privacy on the internet. He is dismantling a Soros agenda. That's from sgtreport.com. Breaking news, entrance to 3,700-year-old previously unknown pyramid discovered in Egypt. That's on ancient-origins.net. Boeing details deep space gateway for Mars mission staging. Aerospace outfit says just 4 launches could build a base in lunar space by the early 2020s. That's on theregister.co.uk. Trudeau says Canadian ISIS supporters have the right to defend their freedom. Is Europe choosing to disappear? A clear-eyed U.S. Congressman, Representative Steve King, correctly said recently that you cannot rebuild your civilization with somebody else's babies. That's on thegatestoneinstitute.org. Massive academic cover-up concealing a near-total collapse of ocean food chains. Mass death to humans will follow. That's on Natural News. Again, this is something that Dane Wigington of geoengineeringwatch.org talks about all the time. I would definitely recommend visiting that website for more information. From Watchers.news, asteroid 2017 GM to fly by Earth at a very close distance of 0.03 LD, which is lunar distance. This is the 15th known asteroid to pass within 1 LD since January 9, 2017, and the closest one. Democratic moles within the White House identified. Plans to sabotage the Trump administration revealed. That's an InfoWars article. EU ultimatum. Brussels tells Poland and Hungary to accept more migrants or leave the bloc. That's an Express article. Ex-CIA Robert David Steele in Oslo. McCain, Graham, Rubio, and Schumer are all being blackmailed. Win tonight. Men and women at South Korean base poised for war 24/7. That's an NBC News article. 16 remedies for radiation exposure. Radioactive isotopes look like nutrients to the body. So if the body is deficient, it will grab hold of the isotope and use it in the body. That's on askaprepper.com. From the Daily Mail, revealed how expedition ordered by Nazi Chief Himmler to discover the roots of Aryan man in Tibet turned into a months-long drinking and hunting bender. And another Mars story from the Daily Mail, debris from a mysterious world that vanished from the solar system billions of years ago is found orbiting Mars. Ghosts and spectra, the invisible world of Wi-Fi signal bombardment. Have you ever wondered what the electromagnetic fields, EMFs, that surround virtually every person carrying a mobile device with Wi-Fi or data capability looks like? That's on strangesounds.org. From Dave Hodges of The Common Sense Show, will the deep state force Trump into declaring martial law? With everything I've uncovered over the past several years, I have concluded that America will be thrust into martial law prior to fighting in World War III. Martial law is usually preceded by a false flag. Islamic State says America is being run by an idiot, from Zero Hedge. And from the Gateway Pundit, GOP lawmakers call for criminal charges against Susan Rice. Okay, that's all for today's Diamond Report. Thanks so much for listening and watching. If you would, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel to receive further updates on more videos as I add them. And I'll see you tomorrow.